Hey, everybody out there in YouTube land. It's Big Ron Partlow here, and this is my first vlog. So I've never done one before, so it kind of feels funny. And I'm just sitting in my Jeep out in front of the gym, taking a few minutes to focus on the workout. I was just kind of deciding what I was going to do, picking exercises. I've been thinking about it all day. As you should be too, 'cause that's how you get the best workouts, is when you know what you're going to do when you walk into the gym. So I'm going to start a vlog. I want to utilize my YouTube channel and my Facebook fan page a lot more, and I figured that this would be a great way to do it. So I'm going to start regularly uploading these, and I'm just going to let it kind of develop organically, whether they're kind of question and answer logs or updates or stuff that's on my mind. I'm going to be very regular with them, and hopefully the feedback will help me sort of decide what the next one's going to be. One thing that I want to talk about, my first vlog though, is what are you training for? Now, since I competed this year, as many of you know, I did the Canadian Nationals, where I finally got my pro card, which was a huge relief, and I'm really happy that went down, obviously. And then I hopped into the Vancouver Pro, where I didn't place very well, but I was in shape and learned a lot of lessons. And I mean, I couldn't have asked for a better group of guys to compete with my first time on a pro stage. Didn't really feel like my first pro show though, just kind of felt like another show. Felt like a guest posing, to be honest. But so I since I've done that, I took a break, and I was training a little bit less, and still just trying to sort of let my body and my mind sort of recover. And I've had people hammering me with the question, when's your next show? When's your next show? When's your next show? And I keep saying, I'm like, I don't know. I'm just training right now. So they go, well, what are you training for? Like, what's your, what's your goal? What you gotta have are you going to compete in the spring? You're going to compete in the fall? People going on and on. This seems to be almost, there's almost a sound of panic in some of their voices. Like they don't know how to handle the fact that I don't know if I'll compete in the next year or not. And I sort of realized that this is something I've been wanting to talk about for a while. I don't want to drone on about how fitness has become a fad, and how Instagram has changed bodybuilding and the bodybuilding industry, the physique industry, that sort of stuff. But yeah, I don't want to sound old either, but I have to remind people that I was a hardcore do or die bodybuilder for 7 years before I did my first show. And I just don't meet people who do that anymore. Everyone trains for 6 months and they want to compete. There's a lot of guys that say they're going to do physique because they're not ready for bodybuilding yet. And my answer to them is like, well, then just don't do anything. Just train until you're ready for bodybuilding. If you want to be a bodybuilder, then part of being a bodybuilder is that you have to invest a lot of fucking time into what you're doing. You can't train for 6 months and be a bodybuilder. You have to put in years. I put in 7 years before I felt comfortable getting up on stage, because I knew I had to be at least 230 pounds on stage at 6'1". And this was back in the 90s. When everyone was smaller and lighter back then, and I had to be at least 230. So I trained until I was 265, and then I dieted down for my first show. That was when I was 21 years old. And I meet guys now that they want to be a big bodybuilder one day. And for example, let's say a guy's 5'10", and he's dieting down and competing in physique at 170, and his goal is to be a bodybuilder one day. I'm like, why are you bothering? If you want to be a physique competitor, that's great. Do that. But if you want to be a bodybuilder, don't compete until you're ready. And that's how I feel with how people approach me when they ask me when's my next show. A guy the other day said, what are you training for? And I've said it before, it's kind of a funny joke. I can't remember who I got it off of, but I just said life. And he looked at me, and I guess it had double meaning. I'm training for life, as in I'll always train. And I'm training for life, as in, life's tough. You gotta be tough too. And training is sort of my mental therapy in a lot of ways. It's how I get through a lot of things in life. And so it's a perfect answer. But, you know, you don't have to have a show lined up to get motivated for the gym. And if you do, if you can't train without a show on the calendar, then maybe you don't really love what you're doing. Like, I can't wait to get in there and train chest today. Why? Because I want my chest to be better. Why? Because I want my chest to be thicker up here and denser and better. It's for me. It's not for a show. Who knows? Something might happen and I might not compete again. I mean, we don't know everything about our future. I don't have a crystal ball. I mean, I might have the best intentions of competing again, but something could happen with business or with opportunity, or, you know, I mean, you just never know. I'm still going to train. And if you have to have something marked on the calendar to get you to the gym, then, you know, maybe you should be honest with yourself about your real motivations for what you're doing. I train because I love it. I would do what I'm doing now for years more. You know, I'm 40 this year. I'll be 40 next week. And I'd train like this for another 10 years without competing if I wanted to. It's because I truly love to be in the gym and banging away. And so that's just something to make you guys think, like, why are you doing this? If you're doing it to be a bodybuilder, it's going to take a lot of time. And you have to be honest with yourself. And you have to be prepared to invest the time. And it shouldn't even feel like a sacrifice. You know, like those first 7 years that I trained before I competed, there was not a second of sacrifice involved there. It didn't even cross my mind that I was giving up anything. I thought I was the one that was lucky, and everyone else who was doing other stuff and, you know, going partying on the weekends and, you know, flying here just to, you know, party and do this or whatever. I thought they were the ones missing out, you know? So if that's your attitude, then you're in the right spot. But if it's all sacrifice and you have to have a show to be motivated, and then, you know, maybe you should put your time into something else, because we only have so many years to invest, and you should be doing what you love to do. That's what my entire life has been based on. I've never had a job I hated. I mean, I've had them, but they didn't last long. I quit right away. Every job I've ever kept for any length of time, I really, really enjoyed. And the people I hang around are the people that I really like being around. The things I do are the things I really like to do, including leg day. You know, it's you should be doing what you love. And I guess that's the basis for this vlog, is just to remind everyone that, you know, you should be doing what you love. Find what you love and do that. And if it's within the physique industry, that's great. You know, find what you love and do that. If you want to do physique, if you want to do the new classic division, don't let anyone get you down. Do it. But if you want to be a bodybuilder, quit doing physique shows. Quit wasting your time. You know, you all this dieting down, doing all these other shows, learning posing that's not going to be relevant to bodybuilding. Everything to do with it, it's not preparing you for being a bodybuilder. Being a bodybuilder prepares you for being a bodybuilder. That's it. You know, I know the diet's similar, but it's not the same. The mindset's a little different. The goals are different. The end result's different. It's not the same. Just put your time into growing, getting bigger, putting on the size you need to be a bodybuilder. And it'll be worth it in the end. So, you know, thanks guys. And like I said, it's my very first vlog. And, you know, I know I'm used to being on camera, but not used to being on my own camera very often. So thank you guys for listening. Send me some feedback. Let me know what you think. And, you know, Rep300 on Instagram, Big Ron Parlow's fan page. You know where to find me. Mutant and Gasp, always helping me out, and I appreciate it. And I'm gonna be doing a lot of these. I'm looking forward to it. Keeping them under 10 minutes. Go train. Everybody does a set. I'm out.